The merge is upon us, and according to most, it went off without a hitch, and was successful in all respects and one of the most talked about events in the crypto industry. By the time this video reaches your attention, it would already have taken place, and you are already seeing some changes taking place whether you're indirectly or directly affiliated with Ethereum. Whether or not it has come though, speculations and observations remain, and there are still a lot of opinions coming from personalities as to what the Ethereum network would look like after the merge. Thank you for watching Diversified Streams, your go-to YouTube channel for all things crypto and finance. Be sure to check out our community post about these subjects. We are curious to know your opinions on these matters. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, click the subscribe button so you don't miss out on the latest news and tips related to crypto. And make sure to keep your notifications on so you'll be updated with our latest videos. We frequently post so you wouldn't want to miss them. In today's video, we will be talking about the future that lies for Ethereum as the frenzy of the merge has ended. What will happen with Ethereum now? We will be looking at it through the thoughts and opinions of Sam Bankman-Fried, the CEO of FTX. Recently, there was an interview that circulated the media following Sam Bankman-Fried's thoughts on what is the future of Ethereum after the merge. We all know the gist of the merge. It is essentially the transition of Ethereum's network from proof of work to proof of stake, promising a more energy-efficient way of creating transactions and a somehow quicker way of enacting them. We have discussed in a few videos an extensive list of possible after effects of the merge. But even if that's the case, it wouldn't hurt to include some other intuitive opinions, especially from people like Bankman-Fried. Let's look at what he thinks of the merge and what comes after it.
I would ask both of you a different question, which is, this goes to, you mentioned Ethereum earlier, ETH. We have this big merge coming, which is going to effectively go from a proof of stake to a proof of work to a proof of stake situation. There are risks involved in this. And so the question is this a catalyst that takes it to another place in terms of how fast it grows, or is this you think a big risk to the entire valuation of it?
Well, I want to yield that to Sam because
Okay.
he's obviously, closer to the situation than me. I like the merge personally, but let's yield that to Sam because he's just
Sam, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think long term it's probably going to be, exciting for the Ethereum community. I think it's going to allow substantially faster and cheaper processing of transactions for Ethereum. I think that sort of was one of the big impetuses for it in the first place. I do think that it's going to be, as all big transitions are, a little bit rocky at the beginning. I think that, there's going to be, some messy activity around when it happens. I think that's sort of inevitable, but long term and probably even medium term, I think it's probably going to be healthy.
From Sam's disposition, we are seeing quite a generalization of what Ethereum's future will be after the merge. For the most part, Sam sees the substantial growth that is accompanied by the merge. That is, a more quick and cost-efficient way of going about the transactions that are happening in the network of Ethereum. This is something that we've seen with other big names who made their remarks about the merge like Raoul Pal, and from these words, you can definitely see how significant it is to learn how to keep your holding game strong. As you've seen from Sam's interview, the short-term effects of the merge might not be as pleasing as some of us would expect. There are things that would take time to finally settle in with the new proof-of-stake mechanism, and the transition will most likely be unstable for at least the first couple of weeks or months, depending on how the developers will be able to stabilize the network. Again, this is an indication that even if the merge might not flourish initially, you will definitely be able to reap the benefits of waiting if you just hold your assets and for a reasonable span of time. This goes for any other asset you can invest in the industry. So the challenge really just lies in the fact that there are newbie investors who would not be able to wait for long, and experienced investors who think it is a no-brainer to actually do the same. So how about you guys? Do you feel like the merge would actually be worthwhile in the long run than it is in the short term? How's your holding game so far? Let us know what you think by commenting below this video. And while you're doing it, check if you have liked this video and if you're already subscribed to our channel. If you're not, better do it now so you'll be a part of our growing community. Sam's interview does not end there, because he also made some specifics as to what he thinks of the merge in terms of it being quote-unquote messy. Take a look at this continuation of his interview.
Messy, what do you mean?
I think that first of all, there are going to be some forks of this, right? Pretty likely as you look at, some people who want a proof of work variant on it. Although, I think everyone is expecting that the bulk of the activity is going to transition, to the proof of stake, Ethereum through this merge. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of people in the ecosystem who have to update software, who have to start processing the new chain. Many of those are going to be promptly ready to do it. Some of those probably are not. I expect that APIs are going to break in ways people didn't quite predict. And there's going to have to be bug fixes released on centralized entities that are trying to consume a decentralized blockchain and fail to realize that the merge has happened. I think you have protocols having, to have developers learn some new things. I don't think it's going to be, a huge deal medium term, but it's a big transition. And,
right.
Anytime that happens, especially when it's not just one company doing it, when it's an entire decentralized ecosystem and all the decentralized and centralized entities in it trying to transition all at once, some people are going to flub the transition and take some time to clean it up.
People have called it the Y2K of crypto. The question is, remember, everybody was worried about Y2K, and then, in fact, it seemed to work out just fine.
Well, listen, I mean, go ahead, Sam, sorry.
Oh, as you say, I think it'll work out just fine for most places, but I think there's going to be some mess around the edges.
What were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say that you're talking about Y2K. Let's go back to 1998, Web 1. It would take 35 seconds to get your landing page on AOL. Now look at us. Billions of people are streaming. We're so early in the space that whatever glitches that happen 5 years from now, people are going to be very happy that they were in a selection of these cryptocurrencies.
Hey, Sam, before we go, given that you've been now making investments in lots of different businesses, including Anthony's this morning, a lot of folks have been focused on the deal and your interest in Robinhood. It's a company we talk about a lot on this program. Long term, what's your plan in terms of your investment in Robinhood? What is that?
I mean, I'm excited for what I think that, could become the company, excited for what Vlad and the team is doing there. Fundamentally, I think that it was, possibly an underpriced asset, not investment advice, and obviously prices and markets have changed. But I think that there's big upside given the huge amount of mind share that it has captured.
But is that a company you would ultimately want to control and own in its entirety? Do you feel like you compete with that company in many ways? And so how do you think about those two component parts?
Who knows what the future holds? But as of right now, I'm just excited for them to drive it forward.
So when Sam said that the merge would be messy in its earlier stages, he did not mean that its implications will be all over the place. He simply meant that the change might be too monumental that users will have the tendency to feel overwhelmed by the upgrade. There's also the growing interest for governmental intervention, where regulations and policies might come into play. If you add all these things into the equation, the merge's implications might just be a tad too complex for both users and developers to handle. It is a big transition that might leave behind a few untidy bits given the circumstances, but it doesn't mean that the upgrades will be inefficient, especially in the long run. Change is inevitable, even in crypto, and these changes that we might see soon may not be convincing at first, but it is still advised to hold on to your ETH and wait. And that's it for today's video. I hope you found this video informative and helpful. As always, if you did, please show us some love and support by giving this video a big thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. And make sure to keep your notifications on so you will be updated whenever we post new videos on all things related to crypto. This has been Diversified Streams. Thank you so much for tuning in, and see you in our next video.